I'm Dmitri Gurov, and I want to tell you about her Anna Sergeyevna, the lady with the dog. It's a story about love, the kind that sneaks up on you, changes you, and leaves you wondering what life's really about. Sit with me a moment. Imagine the sea breeze of Yalta or the cold streets of Moscow, and let me share what happened, what I learned, and why I can't let it go. It was another summer in Yalta, and I was restless, as always. I was 40, married, with a daughter and 2 sons, but my life in Moscow felt like a cage. My wife was serious, always buried in books or ideas I didn't care about. I'd come to Yalta alone, chasing a spark, something to make me feel alive. That's when I saw Hera, a young woman, fair-haired, walking a small white Pomeranian along the promenade. She was alone, her steps slow, her eyes searching the crowd like she was lost. I noticed her for days. She'd appear each morning, her dog trotting beside her, and sit at a cafe, sipping tea, her face quiet but curious. People called her the lady with the dog. I don't know why she caught my eye. She wasn't the most beautiful woman I'd seen pretty, sure, but it was something else. The way she carried herself, like she didn't quite fit in, mirrored something in me. I'd had affairs before. They were my escape from a marriage gone cold. But this felt different, even before I spoke to her. One evening, I couldn't resist. I walked to her table, crouched to pet her dog, and said something silly about the sea air. She smiled, shyly, and we started talking. Her name was Anna Sergeyevna, from a small town called S. She was married here on holiday, and just as adrift as I was. That's how it began, with a dog and a conversation, and I had no idea how much it would change me. We started meeting every day walks along the shore, lunches at quiet cafes, evenings under the stars. Anna was younger, maybe 25, with soft features and a voice that trembled when she opened up. She told me about her husband, an older man, kind but dull, a minor official in S. She'd married him because it seemed right, but now she felt trapped, like her life was slipping away. I understood that feeling too well. My marriage was a habit, not a love. We were 2 people starving for something real, and we found it in each other. Our talks turned to laughter, then to something deeper. One night, as the waves crashed softly, I kissed her. She pulled back, her eyes wide with guilt. "I'm not that kind of woman," she said, tears welling up. But she didn't walk away. The next day, we were lovers. It was reckless, intoxicating. Anna was nervous, crying afterward, saying she'd betrayed her husband, her morals. I held her, told her it was okay, though I'd done this before. Affairs were my way of feeling free. But with Anna, it wasn't just a game. Her sincerity, her raw emotion, stirred something in me I thought I'd lost. We spent those Yalta days like they'd never end, exploring gardens, cliffs, each other. She made me laugh, made me feel young again. I made her forget her worries, if only for a moment. But there was always a shadow: her guilt, my cynicism, the lives waiting for us back home. Still, for those few weeks, we were happy, or as close to it as I'd ever been. It couldn't last. Anna's husband sent for her, and she had to return to S. At the train station, her eyes were red, her little dog yapping at our feet. "I'll never forget you," she whispered, clinging to me. I promised to write, but I didn't mean it. I'd had flings before, they faded like summer. I watched her train disappear, feeling a strange ache, and went back to Moscow. Life slipped back into its old rhythm. My wife was there, sharp and distant, buried in her intellectual pursuits. My kids needed me, but I was distracted. Work at the bank was tedious, my evenings at the club filled with the same old card games and gossip. I tried to move on, flirted with other women, but Anna wouldn't leave me. Her face, her voice, the way she looked at mate haunted me. At night, I'd lie awake, seeing her in every corner of my mind. I told myself it was nothing, just another affair. But months passed, and the longing only grew. Moscow felt gray, empty. My house, my job, my life, it was all a lie, a stage set for a man I didn't want to be. I realized I loved her, not as a distraction, but for real. It scared me. I'd never felt this way, not even when I was young. I had to see her again. I couldn't stand it anymore. I told my wife I had business in S, a sleepy town I'd never cared about. When I got there, my heart was pounding. I didn't know where Anna lived, but I'd heard her husband liked the local theater. That night, I went to a performance of The Geisha, hoping against hope. The theater was packed, provincial folks in their best clothes, and then I saw her in a box, her fair hair glowing under the lights, her face pale, sadder than I remembered. I waited for intermission, my hands shaking. When I approached her, she gasped, her eyes filling with tears. "Why are you here?" she whispered, but she didn't pull away. We stepped outside, into the cold night, and it all poured out. She'd thought of me every day, felt trapped in S, like her life was a shadow. I told her I loved her, words I'd never said to anyone, not even my wife. We kissed, desperate, knowing how impossible it was. We were both married, bound by lives we couldn't escape, but we couldn't let go either. After that, we built a hidden world. Anna started coming to Moscow, telling her husband she needed to see a doctor or visit a friend. We'd meet at a small hotel, a quiet place where no one knew us. Those hours were everything: her laughter, her touch, the way she looked at me like I was her whole world. But they were stolen moments, always too short. She'd leave, and I'd count the days until I could hold her again. The secrecy was heavy. Anna would cry, torn between her love for me and her guilt. "What are we doing?" she'd ask, her voice breaking. I felt a tooth shame of lying to my wife, my kids, everyone. But I couldn't stop. Loving Anna was like breathing. It kept me alive. We were careful, meeting in out-of-the-way places, always watching for prying eyes. The fear of being caught was constant, but so was our need for each other. In those moments, we'd dream of a different life. We'd talk about leaving everything: our spouses, our homestand, starting over somewhere new. But it was a fantasy. We both knew the scandal would ruin us, our families. Still, those dreams kept us going, gave us something to hold on to when the world felt too heavy. As time passed, the weight of our situation grew. We couldn't keep sneaking around forever. Anna's guilt was eating at her. She'd talk about her husband, how he didn't deserve this, how she hated herself for lying. I felt it too. Me kids, my daughter especially, were growing up, and I was barely there for them. My wife suspected something, though she never said it outright. The lies were piling up, and I started to wonder if love was worth this much pain. We'd sit in our hotel room, the curtains drawn, and talk about what to do. Could we leave our spouses? Run away to another country? The ideas sounded wild, impossible. Society wouldn't let us go. Quietly, divorce was a disgrace, and we'd lose everything. But the thought of giving up Anna was worse. I'd look at her, her eyes tired, but still bright with love, and know I couldn't live without her. It wasn't just about us anymore. I started to see my life differently. I'd spent years chasing comfort, status, things that didn't matter. Anna showed me what it meant to feel, to want something real. But wanting it wasn't enough. We were trapped, caught between our hearts and the world we lived in. One winter evening, in our hotel room, we sat together, the snow falling softly outside. Anna was quiet, her head on my shoulder. I could feel her trembling, not from cold, but from the weight of it all. "What are we going to do, Dmitri?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. I didn't have an answer, but for the first time, I wasn't afraid of not knowing. I took her hands and looked into her eyes. "We'll find a way," I said. "I don't know how, but we will." And in that moment, I believed it. Our love wasn't just a mistake or a sin. It was the truest thing I'd ever known. It gave me courage, made me want to be better, braver. Anna nodded, a small smile breaking through her tears. We didn't have a plan, but we had each other, and that was enough to keep going. I don't know what comes next. Anna and I are still here, living our secret life, meeting when we can, loving each other despite everything. The world hasn't changed our marriages. Our duties, the rules that bind us, are still there, but we're different. I'm not the man I was in Yalta, chasing distractions to fill an empty life. Anna's not the timid girl who cried over her guilt. We found something real, something worth fighting for, even if we don't know how the fight ends. Sometimes I think about what we'd tell the world if we could. That love isn't always neat or proper, that it's messy, painful, but it's also what makes you feel alive. I don't know if we'll ever be free, if we'll find a way to be together without hiding. But I know I won't give up on her, on us. We'll keep searching, keep hoping, because that's what love does. It makes you brave enough to try. If you're reading this, listening to my story, I hope you'll think about your own life. What are you holding on to that's not real? What's stopping you from chasing what is? Anna and I don't have all the answers, but we're asking the questions. Maybe that's enough for now.